Hey guys, what's up? This is Shekhar Suman here from Biotecnika, and today we're going to talk about how to become the best scientist in this world, how to become the most successful scientist in this world, and I'm going to give you 10 pointers which will help you do just that. Let's get started. All right, so the first point which I want to give you here is be passionate. Now, most of the times, you'll hear this, you have to become passionate about your field, your subject. No, I'm not just saying that. What I'm saying is choose a micro niche in your subject. Suppose your subject is, microbiology, choose the micro niche, maybe bacteriology, maybe Staphylococcus, and then become passionate about that particular subject, that particular micro niche, micro subject, and then start working on it, okay? The passion should be such that if somebody wakes you up at 2 o'clock at night and says, okay, you want to do this? And you'll say, yes, I want to do it. That's the kind of passion I share for Biotecnika, and that's the kind of passion I want to, inculcate in you, so that even if you have to study higher, maybe PhD, postdoc, whatever, you still want to do it because your subject interests you, because you're so much passionate about it. Because I have seen a lot of people who say, I'm passionate about cancer biology, but when you say, okay, would you do a PhD in cancer biology? They're like, no, I don't want to study anymore. Let me take a job and I'll be satisfied. Now, that's not passion. Passion is when you don't look at the monetary aspects, you just look at the satisfaction aspects. And having said that, many people would say, hey, money is everything. No, money is a byproduct of your success. When your goal is to become a Nobel Prize winner, when your goal is to become the biggest scientist or the best research scientist, one of the best in the world, then you don't look at money aspects. Money will eventually come. Money will anyways come, and money anyways comes. Right? It's just like Monday to Sunday. Anyways, Monday to Sunday, the week comes and goes. The same way, money comes and goes. But what do you do, and how does it create an impact in the world, and how passionate you are about that impact? That's called passion, and that's what will bring money as a byproduct of your efforts, right? So that's my first point. Be passionate about your field, about your micro niche. Moving on to the second point. So my second point is be a creative thinker. Now, look at this. You are a scientist, right? So you can't have SOPs, right? You are somebody who creates SOPs, who is going to create SOPs in the future, right? You are not someone who just follows a protocol, right? Penicillin was not discovered because, the scientist followed the protocol, right? You break protocols, you create your own protocols. So you need to have creative thinking, right? You remember Archimedes was taking bath in a bathtub and he discovered buoyancy, right? The same way, you have to think about your research all the time, and then you have to implement your day-to-day interactions and take examples from everywhere and incorporate it into your into your research, right? And if you really want to learn how to develop your creative thinking, then I have given a link in the description. There is a book, okay, and the 10 Phases of Innovation. It's a great book. Please read that. It will help you develop creative thinking towards anything, not just research, about anything you want to do in life, anything you want to do and develop in the world. You can go for this book. Moving on to the third point, which is identify current trends and work on it. Now, efforts only is not enough. The right direction is also important, right? And that's why I am stressing on this point once again. Guys, your direction is very important. And how do you get to know your direction? By looking at the current trends. Now, what is the current trend? For example, right now it is virology and epidemiology and CRISPR and NGS and bioinformatics, and many more. Actually, I have done a separate video on that. Link is in the description, the trends for 2030. You can check that out. But as of now, what I'm trying to tell you here is, if you really want to become the greatest scientist in the world 10 years from today, or 20 years from today, then you need to catch the trend and then work on it, okay? Don't just say, okay, I have studied MSc Biotech, so how can I get into this? You can. There is a way. Find that out. Where there is a will, there is a way. You have to find that out, okay? And of course, Biotecnika is there to help you. So we have this amazing app called Biotecnika official app. Please go on the Play Store and App Store, download this app, use it. You'll get all the opportunities, you'll get to know a lot of trends, and of course all the videos which we make at Biotecnika, all the webinars and classes we conduct, all the internship we have, all that is inside that. So please download it, please install it. You'll know the trends. Once you know the trend, analyze the trend. Does this trend interest me? Is this trend in alignment with my passion? If the answer is yes, go for it, right? At this age, I am learning BioPython and Java and C++. You can learn too. You can learn anything which interests you, right? Learning this is a skill. Be passionate about learning as a skill. Absorb the trends, internalize it, and work on it. How can you use current trends in your research? How can you use current trends to become a great scientist? Okay, so these are the few pointers which I want to give you. Let's move on to the next pointer. The next point is taking risk. So I met this researcher who was into oceanography, and she was doing research on oceans and other stuff, and this was like, I think 15 years ago. So I met her, and she said that, you know, there is no scope in oceanography, there is nothing happening, so like no companies, right? I have to just do research in government labs. And my answer to her was, of course, everybody starts from A to reach Z, so you have started somewhere. Definitely in future there will be some kind of scope or something. Given today there is global warming, given that today that there are a lot of companies getting into production of pure water, fresh water from sea, or seaweeds, and energy production from seaweeds, a lot of things, right? So that is where suddenly oceanography is becoming a hot trend, but 15 years ago it was not. So what really happened is she took a risk, okay? So when you take a risk, you have to know that you are taking this risk and there can be repercussions, but still take the risk, okay? I'll give you my example. So when we were starting a company in biotechnology, biosciences, and we said we will create awareness for biosciences, people said, this sounds like an NGO. And we said that, well, we are going to create an organization which does that, and of course we'll have all the products and services which we can provide to our customers and our subscribers. People said there's huge risk in this. We said, well, we will take the risk. 15 years fast forward, I don't regret that decision. That was one of the best decisions we took at Biotecnika to start Biotecnika, because that risk has paid off, right? But again, when you take risk, you have to, remember that line which Ratan Tata said, that you take a decision and then make it right, okay? So you take the risk, take the decision, then make it right by becoming the best scientist in this world, right? So who knew like 50 years ago that there will be huge demand of virology, right? Or huge demand of epidemiology. Nobody knew that there will be a huge demand of bacteriology, but today it is, right? So as the day progresses, your risks are going to be your strength. So don't be scared of taking risk, take it and make it right, okay? Let's move on to the next point. All right, so my fifth point is identify what impact your research has on the society. Now, suppose I am doing research on something which hardly nobody cares. Okay, if nobody cares for it, if it has not got a global impact, then I can never come in the eyes of the global community, and I can never really make an impact in the society. As a researcher who wants to create a global impact, you have to really identify my passion, the current global trends combined with the current situation. Does it justify? Does it create an impact on the society, right? For example, if you are into food technology or agricultural technology, yes, it does have an impact on food and hunger and malnutrition. If you're into cancer research, yes, it does have an impact. But I can't think of actually any of the examples in biology right now, but yes, if you're into something like, okay, effect of superoxide on, the veins, it may not have an impact on a global level, right? So how would you become a global scientist? How do you become a successful scientist at a global level, right? It's like upgrading from Bollywood to Hollywood, right? You have to become the Priyanka Chopra. So jokes apart. What I'm trying to tell you here is, guys, think about it. What I'm doing today, is my research going to have a global impact? If the answer is yes, then think in the direction. If the answer is no, then think what can I do which can have a global impact, right? And that's the exact reason we have Biotecnika Global, right? So watch out for Biotecnika Global, where you get global opportunities, global trend, and global news, which will empower you to take the right decisions. All right, the sixth point is focus on the quality of research and not on the number of papers you can publish. These are vanity metrics, okay? I remember this researcher who said, I have published 50 papers. How does it matter? Does it create a global impact? My previous point. On the top of it, winning a paper publication is nothing. Your goal should be winning a Nobel Prize. So look at the impact. Do quality research in quality lab, work with quality people, which is actually my next point. So work with quality people and create impactful research and publish it in impactful journals, not in any Tom, Dick, Harry journal, any random journal you send your work. No, you have to be very, very particular about your work also, right? So that's my point. Let's move on to the next point. So my seventh point for today is focus on team building. Now, if you really want to become a great scientist, at some level, when you have upgraded yourself, you've done your PhD, postdoc, now that you are ready to head your own lab, you will need to have a team, right? And most of the postdocs, or I would not say most, I've seen a lot of them who lack people skills, who lack people management skills. So people really hate working with them. So if people hate working with you, then you cannot get the job done. Then you cannot become a successful researcher, because behind every successful researcher, there is a team of researchers who make him successful. Okay. For example, right now, if I say Biotecnika is successful, if I am successful because there is a team behind me which is empowering me, which is helping me create this video, or giving me the content, or giving me the points, and advising me on to do the right things, right? The same way, when you will become that level, so you need people management skills, and you must learn people management skills. One of the ways of learning people management skills is communication skills and public speaking skills. Okay, these are two very, very important things, and to help you just do that, to improve on your public speaking and your people management and your communication skills, we have a course for you. It's a career guidance course. The link is given in the description. The name is Public Speaking and Communication Skills for Researchers, Teachers, and Students. Okay, so if you are a bioprofessional, that's a must go, which will help you develop your people skills, because at some point in time you will become HOD, or you will become a project guide, or a big scientist, and you have to handle a set of people in your team. So you must know how to do that. All right, so the point number 8 is applying for funding for your research, right? So you have, of course, Biotecnika, where you get all the news about funding, where you can apply for funding, and how to apply. Of course, that we can train you for that as well. So funding is very, very important for your research, because if you don't have the funds, how would you pay salaries to the people who will work under you as a scientist, or a junior scientist, or an associate, or assistant? On the top of it, how would you buy the chemicals and reagents and other stuff? So you need to know where to apply, what kind of funds and grants are available, and where to get all that information. You can come to Biotecnika, and we have an app, Biotecnika official app. Just download that. Go and check out the research grants section. You will know where exactly we can get the research grants, and you can apply there. As simple as that. But before you apply, you have to know how to apply, what kind of compelling research proposal you can create, and we have a course for that. Link is given in the description. Research proposal, how to get grants, all that is given in there. So that's my point. Moving on to the next one. My point number 9 is embracing rejections and failures. Failures will be everywhere, and rejections will be a part of your success journey. The important aspect here is to know that rejection and failure is a part of the process, and not an exception to the process. Okay, you have to know that the wall which is standing in between your success and your process is failure. Once you've climbed that wall, you can definitely get to the other side. But for that, you have to refine your process, your research process, your funding process, your funding approach process, your team building process, your creative thinking process, your creative ability process, a lot of things, right? Innovation ability process. And that's the point which I wanted to make here. You have to know that you have to embrace failure, learn from it, and then make it right. You see, Edison didn't invent the first light bulb. he also found 10,000 other ways on how to not to make a light bulb. Okay? And that is one lesson you have to keep in your mind whole of your life. You'll first have to go through 10,000 failures, then only you'll achieve one success. Success is not something which somebody hands over to you. Okay? Right now, what we are doing is creating content for all of you so that you will all like it, so that you all come to us, you all subscribe to us, and you stay subscribed. You make Biotecnika the biggest global platform for biosciences. That's what our aim is. And why we're doing that? Because we want to be successful on a global level, and we want to make you successful on a global level. Because if you are not a global researcher, then what's the point of all the efforts we are putting in, right? So that's where I want to say. And of course, in this process of helping you all, we face a lot of failures, right? So don't be afraid of failures. Failure is a process. Please work on it. All right, the last point, or the 10th point, which I want to highlight here is never stop learning, develop your learning skill, and stay productive. Very important, guys. We all think at some level that enough of पढ़ाई बस हो गया, आप कुछ job करते हैं या कुछ teaching करते हैं, कुछ we'll do something, right? But learning will go on throughout our life, okay? You can't stop it. At this juncture also, you have reached the 10th point because you learned the 9 points, right? Learning will always be there, and as a student of, your college or university, or as a bioprofessional, wherever you go, you have to know that trouble will come, failures will come. You should not become a victim of circumstance. You should become a student of circumstance. You should learn from the circumstance, and of course, you should learn from trends, and you should implement it, and of course look for new techniques and technologies, because biosciences is not only a knowledge driven industry, is a knowledge powered industry. There is no set of rules which is you have to follow to achieve success here. You have to make your own path, and for that you need to keep learning newer technologies, newer skills, and newer trends. If you want to know new trends which will be there in 2030, we have made an excellent video. The link is in the description. So these are my 10 pointers, guys, which I wanted to highlight today. Most of us don't want to become global researchers. Most of us don't want to target sky high. But even if one person among you becomes a global researcher, becomes successful at the global level, I will say कि शेखर सुमन की जिंदगी सफल हो गई, बायोटेक्निका की जर्नी सफल हो गई. So with these thoughts, I wish you thank you and good luck. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया ये वीडियो देखने के लिए अंत तक, और बहुत बहुत मैं आपको बेस्ट विशेस देना चाहता हूँ. I want to give you best wishes that go ahead and crack that tough nut, become the global scientist of our era, and so that people know you as the next Hargovind Khurana. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the success. Bye-bye.